All right, gang, welcome back to our Island Preservation Challenge here on Ronida Island. It is December. Rain is in the forecast, unfortunately. And if you missed the last episode, we added this shed here. We kind of built up a bit of a mini yard over here for the time being, and we put down a mini tiny house as well to kind of round that out. Now, as we've continued on here with this sand, I'm not quite sure it was the smartest thing for me to put down in this area. We'll deal with it for a little bit longer, but eventually I might actually change it, and we can kind of call that our completion of the fee that we needed to incur for earlier on in the series when we made a catastrophic mistake and we're selling silage out of pallet boxes, but the pallet boxes did not sell with it. That is against the rules. So we've kind of made most of that back, I think, for the most part. But you know, we'll kind of go from there, I guess, in regard to maybe painting some more of this over. I think from a track perspective, I'm going to keep it the sand approach, even if it's a bit annoying. But I guess we'll find out. So today we have 2 fields actually that are ready to harvest. Now we really aren't going to need this tractor yet, but I'm just kind of pulling it out from where it was because it was kind of in the way. We've got a cotton field harvest, or a cotton field ready to harvest here. It's a very, very small field, very tiny. It's not going to take us long to do. We're going to do that one first and foremost, so that way we can get Granny's knitwear up and running. And then we've got this awkwardly triangle type of shaped field here for peas that are also ready to harvest. So we're going to focus on getting those done today. We will see how long it takes us. I'm not sure. We are going to be utilizing manual equipment to do this, so it is going to be a little bit slower than what you've seen here recently. And it's going to be that way for at least for quite a while, I guess I should say, in regard to manual type of approach of things, because specifically we're not quite ready to move on from that. So I don't remember which one the peas require in comparison to the cotton. We know this one's cotton, but of those two, I'm not quite sure which one it is. I'll have to look that up. But let's do the cotton harvest first, as I mentioned, and then we'll kind of go from there. So, how's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Things are good, man. We're moving along. We've got some baby sheep in there. We also have some baby chickens, which that's another story that we have to kind of consider here. I think we're going to end up having to utilize at least a portion of that sorghum that we do have right now that are in boxes for the chickens, because there's about 700-ish liters of food left, probably good enough for next month, but by next month I'm expecting we're going to need some food in there. I'm not quite sure, how long it's going to take, for our newer fields here to be ready. It looks like, it's sorghum, right? I think sorghum is like 4 or 5 months, maybe it's 6, but it's somewhere around in there. So that's quite a ways, right? And, if we've got more chickens now, which we do, they're going to be eating through that food faster than they were before that. And it was about every 3 or 4 months that we needed to add another 1,000 liters into there. So we're going to need to multiply that a little bit more and kind of see where things go, I guess, right? But, we'll figure that out as we move along. So, we're going to get started straight up here with the cotton and get this going, which is going to be good. And then we'll see, how the peas work in just a bit. So let me just make sure I get this all set up properly. Okay, all right, all right. There we go. So I'm probably just going to run this manually. It works with the GPS, but I think I'm just going to run it manually. It's not too difficult. And like I said, this is only going to take us a few seconds to do. We are going at 6 miles per hour. I'm realistically, with the GPS, it's going to make you only go down one line of cotton here. And the way that I'm kind of running it now, I can go down 2 lines, right? So it's a little bit faster. So we're going to go that approach and I'll leave it at that, I guess. So, this series, this episode should be coming out on Sunday, I think, unless I decide to do a back-to-back, but either way, it's going to be Saturday or Sunday this weekend. We once again did not get another episode of the Competitive One Tile Challenge done. We really do apologize for that. Rusty just was non-responsive. Not really sure what's going on there. I know he's been really busy, and he must have got caught up or something, but he didn't respond to Krusty or I, so we decided just to kind of delay it for the time being. and hope for the best that we can get one next week, right? There's not many episodes left in that series, so as much as I don't necessarily want the series to end, it would be nice to go ahead and finish that series up, though. But right now, we're having a lot of trouble right now getting our schedules to all align here. So we'll see, right? We'll see. Hopefully this weekend we'll get one done. I'm recording this Thursday night, so hopefully we'll get one done this weekend. But if for whatever reason we don't, as I always do, I will let you know. I did mention in the last episode of this series specifically that Crestu and I are kind of talking about working on doing some kind of a mono-e-mono mini-series challenge, somewhere around 30 episodes or so. And realistically, what we're planning to do is if we continue to have these issues where Rusty is not able to, get his schedule freed up to be able to get an episode done, or on the off chance that, it just for whatever reason he can't join and we're not able to get another day set for us, right? We're going to kind of run that series, and then what would eventually happen is whenever we're back for the competitive one-tile challenge, we'll run that week, and then whenever we need a week off for that competitive one-tile challenge while we're trying to finish it up, we can replace it with this series that Crestu and I are talking about. It's nothing set in stone. We haven't even figured out the map yet. We've got some ideas for that, but we'll see how things go. It will be just a generic multiplayer, competitive multiplayer type of approach where we both start with the same amount of equipment, the same amount of land, same amount of money, 4 or 5 pieces of equipment, whatever it is, and we just go. No real restrictions other than the restriction of, nothing super unrealistic. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to go and place down 15 of the exact same windmill just to generate money, right? Certainly you can place 1 or 2 down here and there or whatever, but not just a mass amount of them just to, win. We're going to be trying to do it the legit way for the most part. So I think that'll be fun for him and I to kind of continue on. I did hear that he's getting, let's see, I think in about a month, maybe a little less than a month from now, he's about to have knee surgery. So hopefully that goes well for him. I feel bad for him on that, but does mean he'll have a little bit more time to do some videos, though, so that's good for us, right? So anyway, we will see what comes up of that. It won't be, obviously, this is out on, like I said, either Saturday or Sunday, so it's obviously not going to be this weekend, but if we can't get together with Rusty for the following weekend, maybe we'll release it then, or maybe we'll get the schedules back under control here soon, and maybe we don't have to really worry about doing that series until it's over. I don't know, but either way, it's something that Crestu and I have been talking about, because our schedules are a lot more lenient in comparison to Rusty's right now, so we'll see. Right? We'll see. Yeah, I think that's about the main, news I have to provide, I guess, right now. I don't really have any other news to bring up. We're done with the cotton harvest here for this small field. Now, I've talked about the small field a couple of times. Realistically, what I think I'm going to do with this field, and I said this in the last episode too, we're going to turn it into a sorghum field. The reason why we're going to do that is because this field here and this field over here are the exact same crop. They are both soybeans. It's a long-growing crop. We know that for sure. So because of that, I'm going to put sorghum in here. It should, be a similar, it's not going to be exact, but it should be similar in regard to when this field's ready and when the soybeans are ready. So if we can do that, then hopefully we can combine them, because that's what I said my, end goal is for that field really is to kind of combine them together into one field, all 3 of those fields into one. Now that we've, got some bigger equipment, certainly the harvesting is still going to take as long as it always does, right? It's going to take a long time, but everything else that we have to do is a lot faster than it has been, right? So now, really, we need to try to get these peas done here first and foremost. So, even though I realistically would like to get that cotton up, I think I'm going to jump straight into the harvester here and go into the peas here, because I don't want the rain to get here. As a matter of fact, I should just look and see when the rain's going to be here. 11 o'clock. Yeah, we really need to get the peas done. So, as much as I want to go ahead and put that cotton in there so we can get Grandma's Knitwear going, we're going to hold off for right now against our better judgment and get the peas done, just to try to make sure we get that harvest done before the rain hits. To be fair, I really haven't done a whole lot with peas. I don't know if the rain causes any issues with the harvest where you lose a yield. I would assume it does, just like everything else, but I really don't know that answer, right? I don't know that. We're going to find that out, I'm sure. We probably won't get done with that field before then. We only have one harvester right now that can do peas. we need to buy a second one. I've mentioned that a couple of times, so we can start utilizing a worker. It's not really a problem for us to do now, but I think considering this is the only two main things we have to do today, let's just attempt to do it ourselves here and just see how it goes. If we start, well, evidently it threw me outside of the wall. If we start to get to a point where, you know, we think we're going to run out of time, then, you know, we'll change it up at that point, I guess, right? So let's find the harvesters here. The multi-fruit. Okay, that's the one with the looks kind of more like a corn harvester than it does anything else, right? So we'll grab that one because this is not peas. That is soybeans on that, and corn. Yes, maize, silage maize. Yeah, okay, so it's not this one, but the one behind it. So let's move this out of the way. Still got the sandals on, but now that we actually have a house, I do have some more clothes. I need to switch out these sandals and put some shoes on now, especially with the manual stuff we're doing here. All right, let's get underway here. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So, as much as this is unrealistic using a GPS system for a manually pushed piece of equipment, we're going to use it here and use it to our advantage. Okay, we're underway. All right, so realistically, the goal here today, obviously, is to get this harvested as fast as humanly possible. We'll pick up the bales here. We'll put them into Grandma's knitwear, as I mentioned. And then realistically, I'd like to get this field plowed up. If I don't get this whole field done today, then so be it. But I'd like to get this field plowed up and put sorghum into it. The sorghum I'm going to put into it is going to be a very badly yielding sorghum. I'm okay with that. I don't think if I wait, I don't think it's going to be around the same period of time when those are ready. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and directly put it into the ground, knowing it's going to have a very bad yield to it. You know, and kind of go from there, right? Now, this field over here with the peas, we're going to go about this a little bit different way. A lot of you have been mentioning, you know, the way that I'm going about it is fine, but I should really be going about putting in grass in the ground. And it should give me 100% yield if I do grass. So we're gonna attempt to do that here as we move forward. Like I said, I'm not quite sure if we'll get that done today. I would say that we probably won't get it done today because it is going to take us a while to get the rest of this field done, get all of the bales up, get that plowed, reseeded, all that stuff, right? It's going to take us a while to do all this. So I would assume this would be probably for the next episode. And realistically, that probably makes a little more sense for it too, because I don't think in January we will have a ton to do. Matter of fact, I can probably already tell you we won't, because I don't think any field, quick autosave, of course, always in the worst time when I'm trying to talk to you, I don't think any of these fields are going to be ready to harvest next month. This one will be close, but it won't be. It'll be the following month. And this sorghum field will probably be then as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be a bit. Also, somebody told me, and I don't think I did, but somebody told me that I missed a row here on the sunflowers. I guess maybe here, maybe that's what they were talking about. I don't know, but I don't really see that I missed anything specifically. Ooh, that was almost a disaster. I don't see that I really specifically missed anything there. I mean, I very well might have, but I didn't really notice anything from that angle. So where are we going? Where are we going? What are we doing here? All right, we're turning the lines on. I hate these lines. Yeah, I've said that to you guys before. I think some over here again. There we go. For some reason, it likes to think I'm over there. I don't know why it thinks that, but it does. All right, and evidently what we just did was not far enough over for some reason. Okay, there's just some weird lines going on here. That's fine, whatever. So we're doing 3 headland passes on this. We've got an hour and a half-ish, probably a little less than that, but an hour and a half-ish is what it says before the rain's going to be here. I don't know if we'll get this done in an hour and a half at 2 times speed or not. I hope we do. I would hope we would. 2 times speed's not that fast, but at the same time, I mean, we've already spent 30 minutes of in-game time already, right? So I don't know. Used market-wise, there's not a ton. This thing would be wonderful for a lot of different reasons, but not really something we can afford or need. Same with the sprayer. Oh, well, no, actually, no, not the sprayer. Sorry, we can't do spraying. I keep forgetting. We cannot do spraying in this series. Somebody was talking specifically in the last 2 episodes ago. Maybe 2 episodes ago. 2 or 3 episodes ago, I don't know. One of those two. Anyway, about, utilizing the lime. I was talking about the lime and how I had to ask Crusty if we could, grind the rocks down to make them into lime, and then if I can get the lime into pallets that sell, can I sell it? The answer to that was no. You can't do anything with the stones unless you're doing it for your dream home. So somebody was saying, well, can't you just take it and put it into lime and then you can spread it on the field? Well, no, I can't do that either, because that goes against the rules of all natural, right? We're not allowed to put down solid fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, herbicide, lime, any of that stuff. It has to be kind of, before any of that stuff was invented, I guess is how I will put it, right? So we're not allowed to do that, unfortunately. It's a great idea, and I normally would do something like that, but for this specific series and the rules of this specific series, we're not allowed to do that. And since I've already broke a pretty severe rule, I've broke a couple other minor rules as well, but since I broke a pretty severe rule with that silage selling, I'm not going to do that either. A couple of the other minor rules, I don't think I was really supposed to move the animals like I did. I think I was supposed to get an actual trailer and move them by hand. I did not do that. I am on console though, right? And Crestu is not. He's the one who created this series, in case you didn't know. He's using a lot of tools that I do not have on console, so I'm giving myself a little bit of leeway in some other things that don't really match up, I guess, to that instance. But we don't have the access to Lumberjack mod or super strength, anything like that. We do have the ability to do liftable things that are on Mod Hub, but I can't just go and pick up the tractor by hand, if I really wanted to, right? If it was stuck or I wanted to move it. So, I'm giving myself just a tiny bit of leeway besides that, and the only tiny little bit of leeway I'm giving myself is to allow myself to do an auto selling, and the auto load approach, which I think Krusty was doing auto load from the beginning, so it's not a big deal there, but, the auto selling, I know, was not something that he was allowing as a rule, but I modified the series for me, specifically on console, to allow that. Just because, later on, not right now, but later on in the series, it's going to get pretty severe and going to get a lot more difficult for me. So having the ability to do some auto selling is going to be helpful. Now, the negative of doing auto selling is we're not going to get as much money, right? So I'm going to try not to do it as much as possible, but there's going to be certain periods of time where we are just going to run out of time. I know we are, and we're going to need to want to put something on auto selling, or we're just going to want to put something on auto selling in general. And, when that time comes, we'll do it, right? But here early on, yeah, that's definitely not something we're going to be partaking in. These lines are kind of all over the place here. And I know the lines don't really bother a whole lot of people, but I don't know. For me, I don't know. I don't like it. I just think it takes away from a bit of the immersion, and I understand that there are other things that I do or that are happening that remove that, but I don't know. It just feels weird, I guess, is how I will put it, right? It just doesn't feel correct. This is a pretty cool machine, though. This manual machines that are out here on Mod Hub. These are pretty cool machines that somebody created. And to be fair, I apologize. I do not know who created them. I probably should know this, but I don't. But they are pretty cool machines, man. And the rain's here. It's not even 11. Oh, no. Well, what that means is we're probably going to have to rest for a while, because I can't really continue to harvest here. I'm going to lose yield. Well, at least I think. But now that I say that, I don't know. It's not telling me anything about it. So perhaps we just need to see what happens if we continue on here. Perhaps we'll just see what happens here. Let's continue on and see what happens. Because maybe we're wrong. Maybe with the manual tools, there's no problem with you harvesting in the rain. I would assume that's not the case, but I don't know. Right? You would think it would be an issue no matter what. But maybe it's just because it's a, you know, it's a manual piece of equipment versus an actual piece of machinery, right? I don't know. It's not telling me anything about it. Maybe somebody knows the answer to that that's smarter than me and has experienced this already. Does it decrease the yield if I continue to harvest with a manual piece of machinery versus an actual with a manual harvester versus an actual piece of machinery, you know, like an actual true harvester? I don't know. If somebody knows, let me know down below. Okay, the harvest is all done. I've got the bales picked up. I think I have all of them, but just to be safe, I'm going to do a bit of a high-angle view here. We always normally lose one in here, but it looks like we got them all in this instance, which honestly makes a lot of sense. It's such a small field, it would be probably pretty difficult since we're using the auto-load anyway, right? I'm going to... Oh, it looks like it actually accepted one from here. That's pretty surprising, isn't it? I'm going to flip around this way. It's going to be easier. Okay, maybe not. I thought I was going to be close enough there. I swear I've been that close before and it's worked, but evidently not. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Well, that went well. Yep. Already. Okay, well, that is all done. So, what we need to do now is plow up the field there and put some sorghum in, like I talked about, right? It shouldn't take us too long to do that. Realistically, it's a relatively quick job. I could pick up the peas as well. As a matter of fact, you know what I didn't look at? I don't know when peas are best to sell. I would have thought it's somewhere around now, but I very well may be incorrect with that statement. So, let's take a look here. Next month. Okay, next month. Yeah, we're not going to sell them today because that's a pretty significant drop-off there. It's $800-ish, around that, right? That's pretty significant. So, we'll wait till the next month and do that. So, let's get this field plowed up. And then we can, like I mentioned, put some sorghum in there. And we're going to hope for the best that it lines up relatively close to when the soybeans are ready to harvest, right? That's our main goal here, and our hope, I should say. We're not going to sell anything today in regards to the crickets or the rice saplings. We're going to hold on to those until the next episode. Like I said, next episode, I don't think anything's going to be ready to harvest. I really don't. So because of that reason, I'm just going to hold on to them. That gives us something else that we can sell and do next month. We should make an okay amount of money next month. We really should. Because, well, I didn't turn it on yet, but we're going to have all that small amount of wool that we just put in there for Grandma's knitwear. There's already some in there. They're about halfway through, I think, towards an actual pallet of clothes, which will be good, right? So that's more money. A little bit of tight quarters here. I've kind of made this difficult on myself, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, so it's it's a little bit of close to being a point where we're going to make a decent amount of money off a pallet of clothes again. So that'll be good for us. It certainly is going to help us being able to expand and buy more things, right? I know I've talked about the palletizer a lot. I think next month, if there is very little to do, like I think there's going to be, I think next month makes a lot of sense for us to put down the palletizer as well, figure out how that all works. I don't think it's a very expensive piece of equipment to, or well, I guess not even equipment, I guess building, I don't know. Production, I guess we call it production. It's not a very expensive one, so it really isn't going to break the bank, and we should have enough money next month when we sell that stuff. Easily. Now, are we going to actually be able to use it next month? No, because we're not going to have a harvester, so no. Well, I say a harvester. We're not going to have an actual physical big machine harvester. We're still going to have the manual hand tools for a while, so. But eventually the goal is to start getting into the harvesters. Now, we're going to have to get lots of different harvesters, right, to replace those manual tools. So we're always going to have the manual tools being utilized for quite a while here, because, a cotton harvester is... Did I just kill that somehow? How did I just kill that? I wasn't even near it. Wow, okay. Well, anyway, a cotton harvester is near it makes no difference for the cheapest one, almost $500,000. So, it's going to be a while, right? It's going to be a while before we have one of those, right? So at a bare minimum, the cotton harvester is still going to be utilizing the manual one for a little while longer. And I say with a little while longer, we're going to be utilizing that manual thing for a while. But we should here soon enough start to actually see a bit of a change in regard to not everything is going to be manually harvested, right? We're actually going to start making some progress here soon. Well, I say we've made a lot of progress, but I mean in regard to not utilizing the manual tools for harvesting, right? We're going to actually start seeing some things when it's time to harvest not be as big of a problem as they maybe are now. Like, in other words, if I had all of these fields ready to harvest at the same time, that's a problem. That's a big problem, right? That's a real big problem. We're only allowed to utilize one worker on this series as well. That's something else we have to remember. We can only use one worker. I'm still a little upset. It's not a big deal because we're not utilizing them right now, and I don't think we're going to need as many as we're going to get here for this series, but I am still a little bothered by the fact that all my stones went away when I painted the ground there. Bit annoying, right? Bit annoying. Again, don't think it's going to be a problem. I think we're going to have plenty of them. I really don't think it's going to be a problem, but it is still a bit of a nuisance that they went away. Really tight quarters here I'm working in. Probably killing corners a little bit, but that's all right. Yeah, if that rain would have not started until 11 o'clock like the calendar said, we would have got this field done easily. Both fields done, I should say. We would have got both fields done easily without any issues of any sort. So that's a bit unfortunate as well. I am definitely going to have to make these corners a little bit wider here. I am not giving myself enough room for this big equipment. Plenty of room for the smaller equipment, but this big equipment, there's just not enough room. And this is prime what I'm talking about with how it's struggling in the sand here. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to change it. I really wanted to use that sand texture because I thought it fit so well with the stylize here, and I might still continue to struggle with it for a little while, but I think at some point I'm just going to have enough of it, and I'm going to need to change it. I just have a really strong feeling about that. Come on. Get in there. Should be plenty of seeds in there. I'm not going to fill it up. Let's get this realigned here. I am not going to be worrying about headland passes in this. We're just going to do the up and down, traditional up and downs here. But the ends are going to be a struggle because I put them probably a little bit too close together. But, you know, eventually it's not going to be a problem. Once we start expanding that way, it's not going to be a problem because I'm going to have a big main track that's going towards the shop, right? And so we'll have a track that's kind of running on the end here. And you guys know how I like to, you know, normally run my fields. They're more of well, asymmetrical. It's not. I am 100% killing that. No way. All right, well, I guess I'm killing that. I'm not even going to worry about that corner there. We're just going to move on. I'm killing that too. Great. Wonderful. Maybe this was a mistake. This piece of equipment is way too big. We don't have the manual seeder anymore. That's really probably what we needed for this field. But that's all right. Anyway, what I was trying to say is I'm going to have a big track that kind of goes over there on that side, all the way up and down this piece of land here. And, you know, we can utilize that because we'll just kind of go about it a little bit differently. The fields, how they're set up, we'll go about them a little bit differently. I would think, for the most part, this field and those fields down there, you're going to want to go left and right anyway once I have it set like that, once I have these expanded. We know that one is like that, which was not what I expected, but anyway. Can't believe I'm killing that crop down there. That's crazy. I mean, I wasn't even, like, really touching it. In my opinion, I wasn't, at least. Alright, that's all done. And so are we today, gang. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, I would appreciate it if you smash the like and subscribe button in case you've yet to do so. They are free. They help me out an absolute ton. I want to thank all of my members for all their continued support. They do get early access to videos like this one, so if you're interested in that, there's a link down below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. As always, it really does mean the world to me, guys. And I'll see you next time.